Hello, welcome back to Angela Shows You. Today we are actually going to talk not anything about, excuse me, crafting. Today I wanted to talk a little bit about travel. So I had mentioned in a couple previous videos of things that I was making that were getting ready to travel. And so I thought that this might be a really good opportunity to do a video on travel. So we are actually getting ready to go on a Alaskan cruise. So I'm going to do a couple videos on travel. One is going to be on the actual travel because I've learned a couple things that I thought that I would pass along because it could save somebody a little bit of money, or just things to know. But this, I want to focus a little bit more on the actual cruise itself. So, whether you have ever been on a cruise or not, I hope that you find some of the information in this video helpful. So, a couple of things that you might want to consider when you're preparing for your cruise is, are you a drinker? I know there are a lot of people, that go back and forth on social media who talk about, I would never cruise without buying the drinking package. And then other people are like, the drinking package isn't worth it. So I think what you need to consider is, are you a drinker? And are you going to drink enough to make the drink package worth it? So I will say that my husband and I purchased the drink package once. Now, I don't know about all cruise lines, but this was on Carnival Cruise Line, that all passengers in a cabin that are over the age of 21 have to buy the drink package, not the soda package. I buy my husband the soda package. I don't drink pop. I buy him the pop package, and that's fine. The alcohol package is the package that I'm talking about, where everybody in the cabin that's over the age of 21 has to buy the alcohol package. I know I've heard a lot of people say, my spouse doesn't drink, that's not really fair. Then I would have to say, pay as you go. So if you buy the alcohol package ahead of time, it's like, I don't know, $50 a day per person. So you figure about $100 a day. So if you're on a 7-day cruise, you're looking at $700 for the alcohol package. It breaks down to about 6 to 7 drinks a day, but probably about 5 to 6 drinks a day, I should say. You got to figure, if most drinks are $9 to $10 a drink, that means that you need to drink 5 or 6 drinks a day to break even. Okay, to me, that's kind of a lot. Especially on days where if you're in port and you're going off on an excursion and you're going to be off the boat for 4 or 5 or 6 hours or more, then you're like coming back, and you don't want to, maybe you do, and that's fine. But I don't want to drink just to drink just to meet my minimum quota for the day to break even. To me, it's not worth it. And I think that's something that you need to think about for yourself is, am I a drinker? Am I going to drink 5 or 6 drinks every day just to break even? If that's all you're doing, then why buy it? Pay as you go. That way, if one day you only drink 3 or 4, I just can't see spending the money on something that I'm not going to be able to take full advantage of. So a couple other things though to consider is, you don't have to eat dinner every night in the main dining room. You can eat at the buffet. There's, the pizza place, there's a deli, there's other options. So if you don't want to eat dinner every night in the main dining room, don't feel like you have to. Some people don't like to dress up, and there's some nights the cruise lines have like they call an elegant night, and so they like the passengers to all dress up. Some people don't want to dress up, so maybe you eat in the main dining room on the casual nights, and then you eat in the buffet on the dress up dinner nights. We don't mind dressing up. It's something fun, especially, you know, I work full time from home, so I don't have an opportunity very often to dress up anymore. So it is fun to take a nicer outfit or two and dress up. And then, you know, we'll usually hit up the photos on either the way to or the way from dinner. We'll stop and we'll do a couple professional cruise photos and then, you know, check them out and see. Speaking of photos, have fun with it. Go ahead, stop off at all of the photo ops, you know, all the different backgrounds that they have, and take advantage of the props. Let them pose you, let them take your picture. You're not obligated to buy the pictures. One thing that I did on our last cruise was when we did the photos, and then what I actually did was every day I would go and I would find our pictures from yesterday. I would group them all together. And I would keep all the pictures together and I would just keep moving them. Then what I did closer to the end of our cruise was then I went through that whole stack of pictures and picked out the ones that I liked. I also kind of every day as I looked through, I would look through them, of course, and I'd be like, no way, that one's out. And I would put it in the little photo recycle bin. So don't get caught up in the buying all the pictures every day. Pick out the ones that are no's, get rid of them right away. Pick out the maybes or the yeses, and then set them aside every day. And then at the end, go back if you think you want to buy, you know, 5 8x10 pictures because maybe you want to give them as gifts. Pick out the ones that you like the best and buy those. But if you wait until the end, then you can pick your favorites from the whole trip instead of buying some every single day and then being like, you know, in 3 days from now, oh, I like this one better, and now you already bought that one. Just set them aside every day and make your purchase at the end. You can also prepay for pictures, at least on Carnival. When you're logged into the Carnival website under Manage My Cruise, you can buy like Cruise Cash, and you can prepay for like 5 photos or 10 photos. So that's also another option. And I think it works out to be a little bit cheaper also if you choose to purchase the photos ahead of time. My husband and I like to take advantage of eating one meal on our cruise at the steakhouse. It's a different experience. It's a lot of fun. It's small. It's casual, or it's not like casual. We dress up for it, but you don't have to like dress up. But we usually will pick out, you know, something a little bit nicer, and it's a smaller, more intimate setting. You get an appetizer, your meal, your dessert. It's quieter than eating in the main dining room or the buffet, and it's just something nice and fun to do. Now, some cruise lines have other options besides just the steakhouse. Some have like a sushi meal, some have an Italian restaurant. So take a look at what your optional dining opportunities are and look to see, is it something that you want to do? Some people like to take advantage of the chef's table. That was something that I always thought sounded really, really fun. However, join on Facebook some of the cruise Facebook pages. People started posting photos of the food they were eating at the chef's table, and I kind of thought, I don't think that that's an experience that we would enjoy. The food we're not really foodies. So on Carnival, usually the chef's table is like $80 a person. So I get that it's a whole experience, and they give you, I mean, it's like this gigantic meal, and you get to meet the chef, and, you know, I mean, it seems like a really neat experience. I just, based on looking at some of the various photos that I've seen of the chef's table plates that they bring out to you, I'm like, I just don't think that after seeing those photos of the foods, it just doesn't seem to me like it's something that we would enjoy, culinary speaking. So I would encourage, if you're traveling on Royal Caribbean or Norwegian or Carnival or any of them, join some of the general Facebook pages and take a look at the pictures that people are posting and look to see, you know, what people are sharing, their experiences, because that might help guide you a little bit towards the planning of the things that you think that you might want to do. Another thing about social media is most itineraries have a Facebook group for that sailing. So like I'm in the sailing for the Alaska cruise that we're getting ready to take. And so it's kind of fun because you get to meet some of the other passengers that are going to be on your sailing before you even get on. And like, it's also an opportunity to, like, I got in on the postcard exchange. I think only like 25 people actually got involved in this postcard exchange, but it's fun because, and I did it on our last cruise too, it's fun because you come back to your cabin and, you know, there's often mail in your mailbox and it's a postcard from another passenger and it's from where they're from. So it's just fun to see where everybody is from. So, you know, I went to the store and I purchased a bunch of postcards from where I live, and, you know, I'll write a little note on the back of them and pass them out to all the passengers who got in on the postcard exchange. But it's fun to get them back and see, you know, where people are from. Some people also gave a little something, you know, with. So that's kind of cool too. I had actually seen pencils. I was at a gift shop the other day. I went into Hallmark to get my postcards, and they actually had city pencils. And I thought, well, that would be fun, but I wanted to kind of see if I can look real quick somewhere else too and see, because those were like $1 a pencil. And I was like, well, if I'm buying 25, I don't really know that I want to spend $25 on pencils, you know, to hand out. But, you know, if I can find pens or pencils or even like a little notepad or something, that might be something that I attach with the postcard and drop off, just to, you know, kind of spread the fun a little bit. So some other things that you might want to consider taking. I've been taking one of these. I actually bought this on Amazon, and it's a charger, as you can see. So this one is specific to our cell phones. We have Android phones, so we use a different charger than Apple does, but we take this because we can plug our phones in, and we can also charge our cameras, because the one thing I will say on a cruise ship is there's not a lot of outlets, so you're always jockeying around what you're plugging in. So something like this is really nice because this allows us to charge 4 things at once. This was nice that on our last cruise, so I put my phone on airplane mode because I didn't, you know, we were traveling, we actually did the Panama Canal transit itinerary, so we weren't local, but I wanted to take my phone with me when we were out on ports because it was another means to take photos. And then I also had my phone in case of emergencies. I would have my phone, and then sometimes if I was at a place where they had free Wi-Fi, I would hop off of airplane mode, attach onto their Wi-Fi, maybe post a couple pictures of where we were on my Facebook page, and then you know, it was nice also to have my phone. I mean, I wear a watch, but it was nice to have my phone just so that I had another clock. I had that additional camera opportunity. So we had our cameras and our phones. So then we had this that we could charge our cameras and our phones. You are not allowed to take a surge protector, so just be careful when you're shopping for some sort of power strip or charging station that it's not a surge protector, because those are not allowed. Another thing that I'm actually taking this time is thank you notes, and I'm gonna just put, I bought these on Amazon. There's 12 in here. I'll probably put either a couple dollars in each one, maybe a $5 or something, and I think I'm gonna just kind of pass them out to either bartenders or our waiters at restaurants. I'll probably leave one with a little bit more in it at the end for our housekeeper. You know, we do the gratuities, but I thought that these might be an extra way just to show a little bit of extra appreciation to people who are making our trip fun and enjoyable. And these ones are cute because they have a cruise ship on them. I can leave a link in the comments below to these, but I mean, if you just go on Amazon and search, like, you know, cruise thank yous or whatever, I think that's all I did, and these popped up, and these were only a few dollars, and now I've got 12 thank yous, and they have the envelopes too, so I can take these along and just leave a little bit of extra appreciation. Don't forget to take your passport with you when you go. So we are doing Alaska. So most cruises that are closed loop, I don't want to say all, but most closed loop cruises, and closed loop meaning it starts and ends in the same port. So we are going out of Seattle. So we're flying to Seattle. We're actually going to spend a couple days in Seattle, get on our cruise. Closed loop meaning we're coming back and we're flying back home from Seattle. However, we are making a stop in Canada, and I know that Canada will actually require us to have our passport to get off at their port. But most of the time, we don't need it. Like when we did that Panama Canal Transit, we got off in Aruba. We did not need our passports to get off. We just needed our ship card. You know, like we got off in Cartagena, Colombia. We didn't need our passport to get off. But I have read and heard that when you're doing Alaska, if you're getting off in Canada, you do have to have your passport if you plan on getting off. In addition, it just makes it a lot easier when you're getting on the cruise to have your passport. I know there's some people who use their birth certificate, but I also am under the thought process that, God forbid, if there was an emergency back home and I did have to get off the ship and come back home, it would be a lot easier to travel from a foreign country to get back home flying. But hopefully I'm never in that situation. But you do want your passport, and I don't know if I need it anymore, but I had actually just left my COVID vaccination card in here because when we were on that Panama Canal Transit, I heard rumors that some of the ports were requesting COVID vaccination cards. So we took ours. We actually had met another couple that had booked an excursion, but they were told that if they didn't have their vaccine card, they wouldn't be allowed to go on the excursion, and the cruise ship actually did refund them for the excursion. And then it actually turned out other people who went on that excursion said they didn't even check. So I don't know that I need it, but we're actually going to just go ahead and leave our vaccine cards right in our passport things just in case. But I think those days are over. Don't forget your boarding pass. And then I also actually, I make a lot of notes. I made notes so when we get off the plane and we catch a taxi or an Uber, I've got the address to the hotel that we're staying at. I'm trying to be prepared for those things. But another thing, speaking of cruise travel tips, is what I didn't know was the one thing that we did and a cruise that we went out of Florida, we had a little bit of a later flight to come back home. It wasn't until like 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon. We actually were able to take a post-cruise excursion from, this was in Florida, and it actually took us to like Fort Everglades area, and there was this crocodile sanctuary type thing or whatever it was called. And it was nice because we got off the cruise, we got on a bus, they put all of our luggage underneath on the bus, we went, we did this thing. It was actually a ton of fun. It was very affordable also. And then they took you to the airport. So it was a way to kill time. It was like maybe like 4 or 5 hours. So it was a way to kill time. We got to do a little something extra, and then the cruise ship actually took us from the Everglades excursion thing to the airport, and then they dropped everybody off at the gate that they needed to be at for the airline that they were going at. So that might be something else to consider when you are leaving, is look to see if there's options like that, so that if you have a flight that's, you know, a few hours, and you don't necessarily want to just get off and go and sit at the airport for 4 or 5 hours, that might be an option of something fun to do. You know, that you don't have to worry about your luggage because it's all taken care of. It's right, it's with you, but it's taken care of, and means that, you know, they just left it on the bus while we did our thing. And we just was one less thing to worry about, and gave us something to do for the day. So some other things that just to consider on your cruise is, this is your vacation. Enjoy your vacation. Don't try not to let what other people are doing bother you. You know, I always view there's always going to be the jerks, right? No matter what kind of vacation you go on, there's always going to be those people who drink too much, who are obnoxious, who are loud, who are rowdy, who think that the world revolves around them, and, you know, it's all about me, right? Okay, I don't care. I don't care what other people are doing. I don't care what they're wearing. I don't care what they're drinking. I don't care what they're reading, what they're doing. If they're in the pool, I don't care. If you're not impacting me, I don't care. So that's really what I'm just trying to get at, is this is your vacation. Don't let what other people are doing ruin your good time. You know, cruise ships, okay, they're not gigantic, right? But you know, and okay, some people are like, well, I shouldn't have to get up and leave. No, you shouldn't. But you know what? If somebody's being loud and obnoxious and you're just sitting out on the Lido deck, move. You're not going to change other people. So don't let other people ruin your trip. Pick your stuff up and move. Either move, you know, across the way a little bit. You know, there's usually, you know, I mean, unless you're really going at a hot time, you know, spring break, or, you know, just a really busy time, there's usually seats. So it's easy enough to just be like, I don't want to deal with this, and move. That way you're not impacted by, you know, the jerk who's being stupid. Another fun thing to do is kind of look at, like, you know, the itinerary for the day. Cruises are full of opportunities of things to do. There's, at the various bars inside, there's always trivia going on, or there's bingo, or, you know, there's something, there's a game, there's always something going on too. So watch your either on the app, or if they do a printed version of the, you know, today's activities, look to see what's going on. The last cruise that we went on, I took advantage of this like tasting, and it was so much fun. And I got to meet some of the cooks, and they actually handed out recipes of they gave us like an appetizer, and then a little, they were just little bites, but it was a little cup, a little appetizer, a little sample of a meal, and then a dessert. And they gave the recipes for each of those 3 items, and it was so much fun. And I found out about it because I was looking at the today's activities and said, oh, this is going on at 1 o'clock in X lounge or wherever it was. And my husband didn't want to go, so I went. But it was tons of fun. There was maybe like 50 people there, and they took questions and they answered all the questions of things that people were wondering. So take advantage of, those kinds of things, because they'll enhance your experience and, just give you a fun and different memory. And, you might walk away with a fun recipe to bring home, or a prize, or just the experience of having done something a little bit different than just sitting on the Lido deck and reading a book and having a drink. Take advantage of all the fun free activities that go on board. Go into the gift shop, go into all the various things. Maybe you have to buy anything, but it's always fun to look, and just see what the ship has to offer, and kind of watch for things that maybe they marked down. When we were on that Panama Canal Transit, it actually happened to be the cruise's like 50th birthday, and so they had a lot of really neat 50th themed things. And I bought a really cute magnet that had the ship on it, and then it had like the little fireworks, and so that was something that I have on my refrigerator that when I see it, I kind of smile and remember the trip. So I hope that this is a few things that will help you, or just some thoughts and ideas, and that maybe will make, if you're doing a cruise, will make your cruise experience a little bit more fun. I would also imagine, though, that a lot of the things that I've talked about can be said if you're going to a resort too. Any place that is doing something is going to usually have some sort of daily activities that you can take advantage of. So I hope that you will give this a thumbs up, and I hope that you have a great vacation wherever it is that you're going. And if you want to leave some of your thoughts, tips, and tricks and ideas in the comments section, that would be great. Have a great day.